haven't really caught on to that yet. They keep on thinking that death crosses mean like the end of the market or the market's about to get cooked, but really death crosses, even in 2021, they were doing the same thing. Death crosses were basically painting bottoms. And a lot of people still haven't caught on to that in this market because of the word death cross. So they think all of a sudden because it's death cross, that means market's cooked, it's over. But typically it's actually created rebounds. So here, I'll post up the thing right here from Ben. That's the post from Ben up top. I put it up in the nest. And then this is the kind of the same pattern, I'm pointing out here, where I'm showing basically the same dump over and over and over again since we broke an all-time high. Yes, we've had a lot of resistance. You could theoretically say there's been a lot of resistance up here, but it's by far not a cooked market. Markets have been kind of shit on the risk side. I'll agree with that. I'll get on board with that. But I can't even really argue that, because if you go to something like total, for instance, right, and you look at total three is at all-time high, and you still got people crying. It's not about all alts being cooked. It's about what you're in, right? When did you get in and what you're in? And, you get into things like SUI and so on and so forth. You got in at 49 cents, 45 cents. You're in a good spot. You're in a good spot. You get into ETH, right? You got in at like 1,500, 800. You're in a good spot. These are still not bad spots. Solana, I mean, I didn't hop on board with that one until almost 30, but still a good spot. I'm still in a really good spot. But I mean, like these are the things that people aren't looking at. People just keep crying because they keep on adding at the highs and selling at the lows. And that's really what I think a lot of people are doing. People are trying to make money off the market. They're trying to actively trade instead of compounding. And that's kind of the death sentence for a lot of people, right? If you're coming in and you're trying to trade continuously and you're not compounding your money, it's really difficult to kind of stay active in these markets, because you're probably taking money from your paycheck, putting it into the market, hoping to double, triple that money. And then you lose on that money, and you can't leave that money in the market because it was never intended to be in the market, right? You were actually intending that money to pay bills, or you intend that money to go into your savings. So now you're selling at a loss and putting it back in your bank account, and you're losing again. And that's not how you trade. Trading and money that you're using to trade should be active money. That's not money that you're needing to pull out next week, next month, 3 months, 6 months from now. It's money that you're looking to kind of build on. And compounding is typically catching wins and putting those wins somewhere safe, good assets. That's what compounding is. And this is really the problem a lot of the time with the Web3 spaces. The degeneracy really kind of blinds the blind, right? And really doesn't allow them to understand finances from a general perspective and understand that they need to protect capital. And so they have no idea of protecting capital. It's just keep being degenerate. And then you end up like somebody like James Nguyen, right? Like, look what happened to him. That's exactly what happens to you when you just keep on compounding that degeneracy versus compounding your positions in a safer place. So, overall, the market's been difficult for a lot of people, I think. I don't think ideally everybody's broke like everybody thinks they are. I do think inflation's still a thing. I think prices are still kind of high for some people. I understand that. But, overall, I would say things will probably improve, probably in I would say ideally, maybe the next year or so. We got to keep in mind, too, a lot of effects that have occurred will likely see them pushing forward. So, like the Bitcoin stuff, with the government, all that stuff like that, that stuff takes time to kind of show its face in the market. So these are all things that I think a lot of people have to look at as active ways to mitigate downside for these markets. And, S&P is not getting crushed. The market's not getting crushed overall. It's just risk. Risk hasn't had much appetite for it. And I think that, understanding that, you got to really kind of think, is there opportunity in risk? And can I hold that risk for a long time, right? Whether it be a year, 2 years, 3 years. For me, it's yeah, right? I've been compounding a lot of my wins into risk that I can hold on to that I think are good plays. But other people, they're not willing to compound that way. They want to go with safer plays, which is okay. It's okay to go with safer plays. I think it's just a matter of, really understanding what you're getting into understanding the companies you're investing in, and then being able to capitalize on that. I'm a very risk adverse person. I can take huge drawdown and be unbothered by it, because I allocate capital in a way that's not going to absolutely destroy my portfolio. I don't put in 50% of my portfolio in the riskiest thing I see. I put very small amounts into risk in comparison to my overall portfolio, and then if I lose, I lose. If I win, I win, right? And I typically will hold stuff even if it's down significantly, because I'm not looking to capitalize next week, next month on a play. I'm looking to capitalize when the play actually pops off, and I'm investing strategically. So I'm looking for things that I think will do well. So overall, you got to have some conviction too. And I'll tell you guys one thing, like, and we've said this a few times, I think it's really big for people to understand is, conviction. You can't borrow somebody else's conviction. If you're in a play, you got to understand it, and you got to be able to really kind of dial down and be like, all right, if this thing goes down 30% tomorrow, I don't have to sell this position. I can hold on to this. If it goes down 40% tomorrow, I don't have to sell this position. I can hold on to this. But again, if you're looking for big drawdowns on Bitcoin, I think people are cooked on that whole thesis, that whole thought process. Like, I understand the bear market thought process and thinking that everything's going to get cooked and we're going to go down to like 15, 20K. But I can tell you, look at previous cycles. All-time high is pretty much it. All-time high is 69K. You might dip into that a little bit. You might get like 55, 52. But like, that's basically your drawdown if you're looking for a drawdown. That's not enough for me to really be like, oh, I need a panic right here. Like, I want to kind of catch this and see what it does. And not only that, typically after you get a big drawdown, you'll get a good bounce. Really what I think is going to happen here for Bitcoin is we're going to get kind of into a position where the market's going to kind of decide, okay, this right here is where we're going to make or break, right? And I think we're going to get a bounce, and then we have to watch the bounce. And if the bounce starts resisting at 100K, likely we'll roll, right? And if the bounce starts pushing through 100K, we start hitting like 110, 120, we have potential for a higher high at that point. And I think like you just got to flip that range. That's your new resistance range. So was support, now resistance. And so you just need to see what the market's going to do around that range and react when the market gets to that range. That's why like selling here doesn't make sense, because typically you get a break, and it's the same thing we saw over here in 2021, right? You get a breakdown structure and then you get a bounce, and you basically get a retest of the previous move right here. So again, it'll be right here, right? Would be the same thing as right here. This 100K range would be the same as this range. We would get a retest of that range. And if the market can push through that, it's higher highs. If the market rejects or starts resisting that range, give it a month or two, likely you're topped, and you're going to get the lower high structure at right around 100, 105, and you'll roll. So that's the way you got to kind of look at this. So if you're like, oh, I need to sell now because 92 is going to be 48 tomorrow, I'm like, I don't think that's going to be the case. Typically the market double traps you, right, with the lower high structure. So it's drop, bounce, drop. This is a typical structure. Again, same thing right here. Big drop, big bounce, drop. This is how these markets run. But we've had a lot of structure control up here too, which is really interesting, because even though this has been kind of like resistance, 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 we continue to keep stair-stepping back up higher and higher and higher in the market. And each drawdown, granted, the first drawdown of the first consolidation range was sitting around 34%. Second drawdown was sitting around 32.29%. And where we are currently right now at 92K, we're only at 27% drawdown. So could we see another 3%, 4%? Sure. Maybe it ranges down to that low. But selling into that 30% plus or 30% or less doesn't make sense, because you're basically, if you look at previous consolidations, that would be like selling the bottom of the consolidation range. Look for a bounce, see what it does, and react on that. That's what I would tell people if you're looking to get out and buy cheaper. But again, I think Bitcoin's gotten to the point with stability where from here, it's not really going to be a lot. Like if you draw down from here, you're going to be like 32%. That's what you're looking at on negative. I've taken much bigger hits on alts, much bigger. I've taken 90% drawdown on some alts. and still holding those alts. So, I mean, ultimately, it's everybody's position on how they want to approach this market, but there's some things I like, and I still buy them. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, I don't think the market's cooked. I do think that the government shutdown did do some damage in addition to that to the economy that will take a little bit to kind of weed out, and that's likely what we're seeing right now. Right? That's another thing that a lot of people haven't considered. So once that weeds out, maybe a month or two, money flow starts looking good. We'll see where we're at. I see traps there, but Profits, you there?
Yeah, hold on.
Sorry.
My favorite time of year when everybody likes to stress me out. So I'm looking at my phone. I was gonna ask you, are you buying a DGOT here?
NFTs?
A DGOT, Papa. A DGOT specifically.
Look, I'm not buying NFTs right now. All right, I'm not buying NFTs.
You guys see the energy? I'm gonna have somebody recollect every case the last year of when I asked him about DGOT.
I've been right. I've been right though.
With the fact that his energy is now shifted. Okay, his energy is now shifted. I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm not gonna bother. Can you actually do me a favor while I go to the hands and welcome everybody up? And I love seeing all these familiar faces. The boy Mamba's back. Oh shit. Kiro, pull up because I feel safe when you're around. Yeah, but can you pull up the rec chart for me? Everybody was bugging about it today. Shout out to Rec. I love the boys. I love Mando. I love what they're doing. I don't know exactly what it went down, but it dropped drastically a couple hours ago, I guess. So we'll get into that while you pull that up. Trap, what's up, dog? Go ahead.
Family, all is well. Thank God we're here again for another one of those hell of informative shows. So yeah, no, I just wanted to put in the little two satoshis on whatever Will was talking about. You know, I definitely not gonna lie, man. There's a lot of things looking crazy. You know what I mean? Obviously, everybody's on the timeline talking about it, but like, just like we always want to talk about anything but liquidity as well. So liquidity is good on both sides, right? It could be good when things are good, but it also could be bad when things are bad. And I feel like we kind of lost a lot of our liquidity. When we had that big erased day in October, and then like Will said, the government shutdown added to that as well, and a lot of selling. We sold about, I think, 600,000 bitcoins or something like that in the past month or so. That from long-term holders, not long-term holders, but like 5 to 7 year Bitcoin holders. So all that is affecting a lot, and I think that, kind of like you said, even though we just breached the 50 MAs and a lot of things have happened, still we have a lot of the indicators that are putting us still in a bull run. And I think that as long as we don't break that, we should be good. But I also think that we extended. I feel like that 4-year cycle is a little bit irrelevant now, and it's going to be proven now, right? Whatever happens here in the next few months is going to tell us if the 4-year cycle is done or if it's not. If it really are going to hell again. But I think that the reason why it's a little bit irrelevant is because only a million Bitcoins left to mine at this point, and most of that Bitcoin is not going to be mined anytime soon. I feel like there's more other things that are affecting Bitcoin, like the ETF flows. If you guys look at the ETF flows in the past weeks or so, there have been billions outpouring out. And so I feel like that has a lot to do with the market of what's going on right now, and so. Tough times, and I think that sometimes I feel some bearish. But then I look at the glass nodes, I look at some of the charts that that actually tell us these things, and none of them have fired off. So I think we're still good. I don't know why I'm
tripping. Before I go back to Will, the stream can hear both, right? Will, you did the tank thing?
Yeah. I think the should be there.
Awesome, because I'm slow. Will, if you want to respond to that, if not, jump into the rec coin. Thank you, Mike, for the take. Definitely appreciate it. I think everybody is tripping because they are on drugs regularly, brother, and they're gambling. But I think,
I think a lot of people got fished this cycle. I do think a lot of people got fished. Right, I got fished on a few things too. I'm not gonna lie.
Me too. Shout out Blast.
Look, it happens. It happens every cycle. You just got to win more than you lose. That's all it is. And I know, I mean, that I say it like it's so easy to do, right? The reality is like
yeah, you're
it's
sounding
more of a
cocky over
patience
here.
game.
Well, we have some new listeners here,
I'm,
buddy. We don't want to
I'm
scare them off.
I'm not trying to sound cocky. I'm that's why I corrected that conversation and said, you know, I make it sound easier. But um I think like the biggest thing to do is just, you know, continually think about protecting capital, right? You're up 100K from 10K, protect some capital. You're up $1 million from like 70K, protect some capital. Like just that's really what you got to keep doing. You got to keep compounding that money. But really, I mean, the rec chart to me looks looks wrecked first, but it definitely is kind of looks like it's settling around this 0.14. I'd say you'll probably bleed down a little more, pushing that range. But the RSI is nearly bottomed on the weekly. It's over bottomed on the daily, and you know, monthly doesn't really have a chart because it doesn't have a time frame on it. But I like the weekly. Weekly doesn't look bad at all. Weekly is really close to the bottom. Daily looks extremely oversold, so you might catch a little. That's why you're probably catching a bounce actually right here. A little bit of buy up. You'll likely kind of still consolidate around that 0.14 though, is what I think. It'll probably take a little bit of time to recover. After a big sell off like that, it scares investors. Typically, it takes time to reconsolidate and push up higher if it's going to. You typically won't get like a V-shaped recovery out of something like this. It'll take a little bit of time and consolidation. Then if it's going to move and it has legs, it should shift off of that. But that's what I would look for. Like, I mean, I don't know if people are looking to buy or people are looking at what happened. Like, what happened really doesn't matter. What matters is somebody took a big chunk of profit. They didn't destroy the chart. Like, they definitely wrecked it, but didn't destroy it. And it looks like you have bidders around that 0.14 range. So that's really good to know, I would say, if you're an investor or interested in investing in it. I don't know much about this, so I'm just telling you what I see from a TA perspective, but I don't know much about, you know, how the coin works or what the utilization is.
When you're like going deep into coins that you're maybe invested in, do you also look at the chain at all, as far as like wallets and things of that nature?
No, I don't. I learned some time ago, like wallets are just a facade. They're just, you know, they're there to scare people in a lot of ways. I'd say like if you're messing with meme coins, for sure, I'll watch wallets. if you're buying into like chains and, you know, supposedly legitimate businesses, uh, there's so many ways to skin the whole wallet situation that it just too like it takes too much of my energy to try and dig that out versus just looking at the chart. You know, like, because obviously, like, you know, the way they set up these things is sometimes it's staking, and they have a bunch of it set aside for staking, some of it's set aside for rewards, some is set aside for this or that. And so the wallets may look over, you know, very heavy, but the reality is like in a lot of cases they have an excuse for it. And so rather than trying to figure out their excuses, I like to just look at their chart, and that'll tell me everything I need to know. I do like to look at sentiment and activity. That's what kind of drew me to SUI, right? Because I felt like there was a lot of good sentiment and activity over there. And so I really paid attention to that chain specifically. And I felt like they were developing a lot over there too. And, you know, so far it's paid off really well to pay attention to them. But, you know, ultimately, like, you know, AVAX and stuff like that, it's a little bit of a different story in my opinion. Like, I think those chains, there's I won't even say just AVAX, but even PNB, there's a little bit of crime that goes on over those places, for sure. But like, it doesn't mean you can't capitalize on it, but there's definitely some crime that goes on over those places.
Mando is fucking hilarious. If you want to look at the Jumbotron, he just tweeted. We put nothing like waking up to frantically add LP to rect so it doesn't go to literal zero on cascading liquidations. So it looks like there was some liquidations apparently.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I forgot you can trade that leverage. So I know a lot of people got liquidated on that dip.
Ooh, yeah, that's actually, yeah, because that's exactly what'll happen. And that happens a lot in this space. A lot of people don't realize that. People get way over leverage long. You hit one short side, one good short side position, you cause a cascade. because it hits one, then hits an X, and hits an X, and then hits an X, and then it just pukes. And then people don't realize what's going on. And then typically you'll get an LP provider, something like Mando's talking about. Basically, it comes in.
Bro, he's such a goated founder, bro. Most founders would be not even tweeting right now.
Well, OSF has been tweeting. He just made his last post like an hour ago talking about the liquidations. So he's been keeping the community up to date with everything. Yeah.
That's actually really good for clarity too. I think a lot of chains should start doing that if that does happen.
They absolutely should. Education is everything. It's normal. People are going to do that, right? So it's truly, when we talk about, hey, take advantage of this, we approach it the wrong way if we're trying to get new people to take advantage of this now opportunity that we know what this is, but they may not quite. So they need to understand why it's an opportunity now. What happened? Why is this now an opportunity? Well, here's why. And it's going to happen again at some point. So take your own risk. But blah, blah, blah. And that's how I've been with my family and how I've been getting, slowly getting my family and the people around me confident enough to invest in, the legitimate groups and companies and projects in this space.
It kind of makes me want to go.
I have,
I don't think I got a Farouk position, but still good entry here.
I may have bought some whenever they first launched.
I'm just kidding. Anon, are you in Rect?
So yeah, everything.
Yeah. Are you in Rect? What's up?
Hey, how's it going? So, Yevon and I actually bought the drinks at the very beginning to get wrecked airdrops, and we bought 25 cases each. It was pretty crazy. And then
Wait, you have the cases still, or you drink them all?
He ended up moving them. He didn't sell them. He just was giving them away like charity. But yeah, as far as the coin itself, I sold early because it was one of those things where it was every airdrop we get, if you don't sell it right when you get it, you usually end up down 70-80% before it bounces. If anyone goes and looks at the first 2 days of the rec chart, really, really impressive. Definitely shows the belief in the founders, the the understanding of the concept, the brand of the, and its community that has formed. And yeah, I got that one wrong. And I've definitely thought about buying back in because of just who the founders are and what they're their willingness to, if they wanted to, these guys could just be absolute Chad goat traders, whether it's deploying random things that would do really well, or, just trading on leverage with the market every day, day traders, and they would make millions. They already have. But it's clear that they wanted to actually stand behind something, prove something, demonstrate how the tech should be used in this space, bring value back to the NFT holders, have a sustainable token, model. So yeah, really impressed with them. This was 4.5%. That's now down under 0.25% with one, entity that was invested that did get liquidated through IMF. And so, yeah, I think that this is just a speed bump for them, and the way that they're kind of taking it in stride and it's just business as usual shows that they're confident in what they got.
It's funny because I'm not in any position. Maybe I'm just mega bullish, but normally when you hear something like this, people are bearish. But I think the fact that they've been very communicative and specific with things, it just makes people feel good. But the caveat to that is, since 2021, shitty project founders and people have manipulated those opportunities where communication is used to lie instead of just be honest. So I think that's why when people be like, oh, fuck, the founder's tweeting, I don't give a fuck, or any of those things, it's because those things were manipulated. Dude, remember when, Carol, was it, you were probably around, remember minting something and then an hour later they posted in the Discord the founder died or something wild.
The thing that gets me profits is like people, and I'm not trying to shame leverage. Obviously, a trader, right? But people love
No, we
to
fixate
leverage
too much
shit.
in this fucking space over the dumbest shit. Like
And
leverage trading's been happening for years, and now you're getting
Yeah.
wrecked because you guys are watching timeline and fake P&Ls. Sorry, go
Well,
ahead.
the thing I wanted to point out that I think is really big is like you have a lot of players in this space that have more tokens than you have position, right? And there's always going to be somebody in any play. It doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter if it's REC. Doesn't matter if it's Bitcoin. Doesn't matter if it's Ethereum. Who's going to see your liquidations and they're like, if I can just push price down to this point and short this thing, I can make a lot of money. And they'll do that shit. They will literally, even if the coin is amazing, it's good. Even if it's rebounds and does another 1,000%, 100,000, that doesn't matter. Those type of things happen all the time in this space. Leveraging new stuff doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me, at least, right? Like if I'm going to leverage something, I'm going to leverage something that has a lot of time behind it. Otherwise, if I'm in something like REC, I would just be buying it. I wouldn't be leveraging REC. It makes no sense at all. This is why we end up in these type of markets, because people sit there and
These people thought we had bad bats, and that's what they wanted to risk. Now that I'm seeing what happened.
Well,
Yeah,
IMF is just really predatory, like, quite frankly. Like, it's exactly what Will just described. IMF is highly speculative, high risk, and it's allowing for people to put themselves in like really exposed, vulnerable positions that are easily manipulated because there's not a ton of liquidity flowing through. And so all it takes is one whale to say, yeah, I'm just going to take a bite out of you, and whoever else is collateral damage, why would I care?
Well, they see the carnage as opportunity. That's really what it is. Even if there's a bid on the other end, if they can force liquidate, they can push price extremely lower than it would normally go. Like basically flash crash shit.
Trap, you can jump in whenever, Trap. Go ahead.
Now, I was gonna say the same thing, even though the market is bleeding right now, and there's a lot of opportunities like REC, and I was thinking, like, we don't think about this a lot, and it seems obvious, right? But this is something I've been doing lately with a little bit little bit of degeneracy. But a basic situation here is that these times, people get tired of buying dips, right? Because think about it, if you're in a position, let's say ETH, and you keep averaging down and you're still nowhere near with the current prices, then it's going to take you a while for you to see any money. So you put it in, it's like a black pit and it just sucks up the money. But one thing that I've learned is that there are some coins, if you were to start a position, let's say I have a position ETH right now, instead of buying ETH, I should start a brand new position on some coin that I have nothing to do with, right? And then once this coin bounces, you can always sell that and then buy some more ETH at the end. So I feel like that's something that a lot of people are missing. Like they keep on buying just the coins they're already in, but there's so many other opportunities of coins where you can catch a quick flip. Solana alone have been down here in the 120, 130 two times before it shot up back to 240, and then it shot up back up to 200, right? So that's like almost a $60 difference that we're seeing here. And some of the times we're missing that because we're so focused on the bags that we already have.
Facts.
The funny part is too that you mentioned that, Trap, is like this has been happening since 2024 with Solana, and nobody's paid attention. Literally 120 is always the floor, and then you go all the way up to 200, and then 120 again, and 200, and 120. You can do this every month, almost every single month.
Yeah. And I feel like we miss a lot of that because, like I said, we're like, already, I'm not going to put any more money into this. Or some people don't even have the money right now. But I tell you what, man, like every time, if you look at the charts, every time that we have gone this slow, it's always been an opportunity that people say, oh, I wish I would have gotten back to this level. And then you missed it again, right? So, like, that's one of the things that is mind-boggling to me is that we forget, bro. Like, just like we forget that quick that we got scammed by the same guy that is trying to run up the next real bag that is going to run, right? We forget that. And just as we forget that the cycle do the same thing every time and that, corrections and crashes, whatever, right? 20% above, 20% we could consider a crash. It's part of the crypto crypto market and we go back just as high. So like I feel like we're so spoiled that we always want the 20, 40, 60, 80% to the top, but we always overlook them when it's times like this. So like bottom line is there's opportunities. Actually, I didn't want to bring this up. I want to open a can of worms, but there is an opportunity where Aster, right there, I have Aster. We have been in Aster for a couple of days now because although Aster still looks red on the weekly, if you go down to the lower time frames, it seems to have been bouncing already, right? So that's an opportunity in the market that is red. So, you know, with 20 million coins around, I feel like there's always opportunity, but people just give up right now. You know, I posted the Google searches for crypto. We are just as low as we were in the bear market.
Hey Cam, you like how Aster came right into my range perfectly?
Yeah, I see. Yeah,
yes, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, bro, we been in that because it's Aster.
Are you guys Aster ambassadors too?
Nah.
I wish.
Look, yeah, daily spaces coming soon.
Daily spaces.
It's all about the ranges. Look, you can recognize crime and opportunity as the same thing sometimes, right? Where I'm not saying Aster has a true bid, but I am saying that crime can happen on this chain. That's all I'm saying.
I actually like Aster though, not to shill it, but I actually like the platform. I talked about it because I used to use Hyperliquid a lot, which I still do, but I actually like Aster better than Hyperliquid now. Position wise, their positions.
You get an airdrop, right?
Yeah, and you get an airdrop. Yeah, they're on round 3 right now. So just by trading, you get airdrop too, and it's going to be their 3rd airdrop. So not only that, but just using the platform, just like your positions get filled way faster. You don't have to use a VPN and shit like that. So it's just different shit. But I actually do enjoy it. I enjoy trading on Aster for sure.
Yeah.
Yo, Cam, they tokenized stocks there already too, or no?
Yeah, they got stocks too. Yep, the tokenized stocks. They been did that. Like Hyperliquid just dropped Nvidia a couple days ago, but Aster had it for like months now, like since they almost first started. So yeah, you can trade stocks. Like it's lit. They always add, like, I got their post notifications on because they're always adding like new things to trade. Like you can trade Zcash. I'm actually about to trade Zcash in a minute, but yeah, you can trade all type of shit. So I like it.
Wait, what we doing? Damn, bro, Zach, I love that coin.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's on a little dip right now, so I'm looking at a little level. I'm looking at catch me a quick little play. I might not hold it, just some quick high leverage type DGen shit.
Quick, okay,
DGen shit, you already know.
We in it together. I'm betting the whole account.
Let's get it.
YOLO.
Yeah, I mean, like most alts right now are like they're at 2022 lows. A lot of them. And like
Yo, I
people are
thought we were
crying
gonna
like
say
they're
that
gonna go
they're
lower.
ass.
No, I'm just saying, like people are crying like they're gonna go lower. It's like, bro, where are they gonna go? 0? They going to 0? Is that where they're going? If that's the case,
Yo, hold on a second. Mamba, you've been quiet, dog. What's up with you, bro? How you been?
Yo.
How you doing, bro?
No, I'm good. I was just listening to you guys, you know. I was honestly just nodding my head the whole time with a lot of the things that you guys are saying. So just throwing up the 100 signs, you know, some point of repeating it. But yeah, I think that overall, like, you know, I think the signs are there, to be honest with you, that we might be going towards a bear market. That's how I feel. I did stable up personally, not financial advice, but like, obviously, I mean, I felt the same way last December, and I felt I made the right decision. And I have the same feeling that same thing is happening. So I stabled up for the most part. I sold what I was up on. You know, that's the whole point.
That's the whole fucking point.
I literally have like 20 altcoins that I didn't sell because I'm down. And honestly, I'll be honest with you, like I held those for about like 6 years now. I'm gonna keep holding them. There's no point of selling them because last year I was up. Last December I was actually up on them. I was up like 6 figs on them. I didn't sell. Only reason I didn't sell was because I really thought that we were gonna have an altcoin cycle. Last December I thought we were about to take the next leg up, and we didn't. And that's because of Trump and stole all the liquidity away at that peak time. And then his wife, you got the VP. I mean, I'm sorry, like his wife did the same thing, right? So like it completely fucked us over when we were supposed to have our altcoin cycle. But here's what I'm looking at right now. Bitcoin dominance is dropping, right? a lot of people aren't talking about it. They're just panicking. And I think the panicking is manipulation. When Bitcoin dominance drops, look at the altcoins, right? We haven't gotten it yet, but you got obviously altcoins that are ripping and that are being accumulated right now, right? Like Zcash is one of them. So those are signs right there that people don't want you to see. They want you to get in later to be the exit liquidity. And I'm honestly just trying to find what altcoins I should be DCAing in and buying up right now. That's literally what I think the game is right now. So if you haven't stabled up yet, you should be looking at altcoins. That's my game.
Yeah, I like that you pointed it out because that's actually the same thing I've been looking at too. That's why I'm still holding on to a lot of my alts. I think a lot of people are just continually, crying and whining. It's like, bro, your alt's already at zero. Like, what are you whining about? You're at the best price range you could be at.
Will, by the way, when you dump in the trenches, this is who you're dumping on. This sweet boy Mamba.
Yeah, I only really dumped one coin, and it was because I was up a lot, and I didn't pull anybody into that wasn't up at least 1,000x. Like it was a good play, and I think like it's all about opportunity at the end of the day, right? So you look at AVAX is sitting at 2022 bear market lows. Like where are you going from here? And that's what I'm trying to tell people. Like people are being fearful when prices are overly, exaggerated as far as crushed. There's no lower for some of these. Like they're as low as they're gonna get. And I think like people don't see it as opportunity. They're just scared to dip their toes in even. And because you're scared to dip your toes in.
Hello guys. How's everything?
Mark, you seem like a stand-up guy. Do you normally go into rooms and interrupt them like that, or not normally? Yeah, that's what I thought. You look like a stand-up dude, in your Uber Plus in your profile picture.
That guy was hammered. Who was that? The marketing guy?
Yeah, is he?
Yeah, he is hammered. Kick his ass off stage. Everybody unfollow him.
There you go.
I don't follow him.
Sniff that ass out, baby. All right.
Don't ask how I know how to do that, by the way.
Anyway, back to the conversation. Before, give me 3 more minutes, please. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Let's see. Anyway, Mamba, valid points all around. Mamba, are you in any groups? Are you in any
chat still? Are you still looking around now?
Yeah, I'm still active in trenches. I haven't been trading as much the past, I'd say like 2-3 weeks, more research, more just being around here, being present. That's what I'm trying to do. But once in a while, yeah, I'll still dabble in a couple of FNFs. Check my bio.
Okay. Check my bio. This motherfucker just, guys, don't join his fucking room. No, I'm just kidding. You can join whatever you want. I'm fucking around.
I can't guarantee it.
I'm joining, and if I get wrecked, I'm beating your ass. No, I'm fucking around. It's all good. Cam, what's been up with your trading lately? Have you? I know we talking in our chat and shit, but are you like as deep in the meme coin trenches as you've always been, or has it slowed down? Are you still trading volume? Is there any fucking volume?
Yeah, I've been out of the trenches. I climbed out of the trenches, so I've been just really focusing on like yeah. I just been leverage trading, to be honest. It's been going good. Like, can't speak for everybody else. I see every day 1 billion longs